Wait before you check your phone again. Hear this. There's a habit you've been repeating almost automatically, something that feels harmless, maybe even productive, but it's quietly working against you. It's subtle, it hides behind logic, and most people never realize it's the very reason their goals feel just out of reach. You keep looking for signs. You refresh your messages to see if someone replied. You open your bank app to see if the number changed. You scan your life over and over, searching for proof that something is happening. That things are moving, that your effort is paying off. It feels like awareness. It feels like staying on top of things, but in reality, it's keeping you stuck in place. Let's break this down in a way that actually lands. Imagine someone planting a seed in the ground. They water it, give it sunlight, and then every few hours they dig it back up to check if it's growing. What happens? The seed never gets the chance to take root. Growth gets interrupted before it can even begin. That's exactly what constant checking does to your progress. Or think of a chef baking bread. Once the dough is in the oven, opening the door every 2 minutes to see how it's doing doesn't speed anything up. It ruins the temperature, interrupts the process, and often leads to a disappointing result. Progress requires trust in the unseen phase. Now let's talk about what's happening internally, because this is where it gets real. Every time you check for results, you're sending a signal, whether you realize it or not. That signal says it's not here yet, and your brain, especially the deeper, automatic part of it, doesn't respond to your words as much as it responds to patterns. So even if you're saying affirmations, staying positive, or telling yourself things are working out, your repeated behavior is telling a different story, and behavior always wins. If your actions consistently come from a place of where is it, why hasn't it happened yet, your mind adapts to that pattern. It becomes highly skilled at noticing absence. It sharpens its focus on what's missing instead of what's building. And once your mind is trained that way, it starts filtering your entire reality through that lens. You could be making progress, but you won't see it. You could be closer than ever, but it won't feel like it. You could have opportunities forming, but your attention skips right past them. Because you've conditioned yourself to search for lack. Now here's the shift that actually changes everything, not in theory, but in daily life. Instead of constantly observing, start engaging. Instead of checking, start creating. Every time you feel that pull, that urge to look, refresh, verify, confirm, pause for a second. Don't suppress it, just notice it. That awareness alone is powerful. Then redirect it. Do something that produces instead of monitors. It doesn't have to be big or impressive. That's not the point. The point is to move your energy from passive observation into active participation. Write a paragraph, organize your space, cook something from scratch. Go for a walk and let your thoughts move freely. Work on a skill, even for 10 minutes. Fix something small that you've been ignoring. These actions might seem unrelated to your bigger goal, but they're not. They shift your internal state from waiting to building, and that shift matters more than you think. Because when you're in a state of creation, your brain operates differently. You're no longer scanning for what's missing, you're generating something new. You're reinforcing the identity of someone who produces, contributes, and moves forward regardless of immediate results. That identity is powerful. Let's take a practical example. Two people want financial growth. The first person checks their account multiple times a day, worries about fluctuations, and constantly thinks, I need more. The second person checks occasionally, but spends most of their time learning, building, improving their work, or exploring new opportunities. Same goal, completely different approach. Over time, the second person doesn't just feel better, they actually create better outcomes. Not because of luck, but because their focus is aligned with action rather than anxiety. Another example, relationships. One person keeps checking their phone, wondering why someone hasn't responded yet, replaying conversations in their head. Another person sends a message, then returns to their own life, working, growing, enjoying their time. Who do you think feels more stable, more confident, more attractive even? The difference isn't in the situation, it's in the behavior that follows. Constant checking shrinks your world down to a single question: has it happened yet? Creating expands your world into possibility. What can I build right now? And here's something most people overlook: when you stop obsessing over results, you actually become more receptive to them. Because you're not gripping so tightly, you're not interrupting the process every few minutes, you're allowing space for things to unfold. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop hovering. There's a big difference. Caring drives intention, hovering creates tension. And tension blocks clarity, creativity, and sometimes even the very opportunities you're waiting for. So here's a simple challenge you can actually use today. The next time you feel the urge to check your phone, your numbers, your progress, don't act on it immediately. Wait, even if it's just 30 seconds. In that space, choose one small action that creates something, not consumes, not observes, creates. Make your bed, jot down an idea, send a meaningful message to someone, clean one surface. Start something you've been putting off. You're not just distracting yourself, you're retraining your pattern. You're teaching your mind, I don't need to wait for results to feel in control. I create momentum, and over time, that becomes your default. A mind that defaults to action instead of checking produces entirely different outcomes. So stop standing at the edge, looking for signs that the wave is coming. Get back in motion. Trust that the process is working, even when you can't see it yet. Because the moment you shift from watching to building, everything begins to move differently.